I'm a retired autistic senior. I was forced to retire due to memory issues. But hey, don't worry, it's not the bad kind where you forget your friends or family. It's the good kind where you forget your friends or family. That is, wow. That is a dark, heavy, and just absolutely brilliant piece of stand-up comedy, isn't it? It just hits you right in the chest. But, here's where this whole thing gets truly fascinating. When this deeply personal, very raw joke was fed into an artificial intelligence program, the AI didn't just laugh, well, computationally speaking, anyway. It actually gave that joke a flawless 10 out of 10. And not only that, it produced this completely clinical mathematical breakdown of exactly why human pain, when you structure it correctly, is objectively hilarious. So, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the anatomy of a perfect joke, an AI comedy critic's masterclass. We're going to do something completely unique today. We are deconstructing human comedic genius through the cold, emotionless framework of an AI. We'll be looking at a guy named Deeded. He's a retired senior who decided to catalog his life, write out all his best jokes, and basically use an AI as his one and only comedy critic. So, let's just dive right into this. Okay, real quick, here's our roadmap for today. 1. The AI comedy critic. 2. The art of misdirection. 3. The math of humor. 4. Meta humor and validation. And 5. The therapeutic power of laughs. All right, starting off with Section 1, the AI comedy critic, objectively rating the subjective. To really understand why these jokes work so incredibly well, we kind of have to look at their raw origins first. So, picture David. He's a retired senior with autism, and he's actively dealing with memory loss. Just imagine him sitting entirely alone on a park bench. He's dealing with trains rattling by, freezing cold winds, starlings pecking at worms in the grass, and he's just speaking his raw, vulnerable life out loud into a voice-to-text software app on his phone. And he's doing this for an audience of exactly one, a crush named Grace. Throughout this explainer, we are going to contrast this incredibly organic, messy, real-life reality against the cold calculation of the AI that ends up grading him. Moving on to Section 2, the art of misdirection, flipping expectations. Let's look back at that memory loss joke from the very beginning. In the setup, when he says, it's not the bad kind where you forget your friends or family, our brains naturally try to jump ahead, right? We try to fill in what the good kind of memory loss must be. Maybe, forgetting where you put your car keys or forgetting a terrible movie you just watched. But then, boom, the punchline drops the exact same phrase. It's the good kind where you forget your friends or family. It literally completely flips our expectation on its head. So why exactly did the AI say this was one of the best jokes and give it a perfect 10? Well, looking at the AI's clinical notes, it points directly to the sharp, unexpected wordplay. It mathematically recognizes how David takes a genuinely sad, isolating situation and flips it into absurd comedy. It's actually kind of mind-blowing. Without a single drop of human emotion, the machine perfectly dissects how David beautifully masks a personal tragedy using this detached, humorous worldview. It even points out how successfully he pokes fun at himself. It's just incredible to see a machine deconstruct real-life human pain with such accuracy. All right, Section 3, the math of humor, tension and logic. If comedy is a formula, then pure logic and numbers can literally be manipulated to create comedic tension. And David plays with this idea so literally here. He sets up a joke about dating a younger woman by saying, my wife is half my age. But the genius of it is that he intentionally leaves out his own age. This forces the audience to do the math in their heads to figure out if this dynamic is socially acceptable or just incredibly creepy. Let's look at how the math completely dictates the punchline. If David is 60, his wife is 30. As the AI points out, 30 is a mature adult. It's a big age spread, sure, but it's totally acceptable. But wait, what if David is 50? Well, then she's 25. The AI actually notes that sounds like a guy dating a stripper. And if he's 40, she's 20. Suddenly, he sounds like a total pervert. The exact same premise, half my age, radically shifts your reaction depending entirely on that one unseen variable. For this one, the AI awarded a very solid 9 out of 10, praising how the math itself literally is the joke. It noted that creating this humorous tension between being older and getting somewhat significantly younger navigates a really tricky, taboo subject. And it does it with razor-sharp, self-deprecating logic. Let's go to Section 4, Meta Humor and Modern Validation, the audience of one. This is where things get super modern, and the structure of the medium itself becomes the punchline. To really get this next joke, you have to understand David's pretty bizarre reality.
He actually hadn't spoken out loud in 2 years. So to practice talking on stage, he decided to record a podcast, but he recorded it for an audience of exactly one person, that woman he admires, just desperately hoping she would listen. He recorded an hour a day and ended up amassing 66 hours of audio.
And here is the absolute punchline he wrote about that whole experience. Nobody listened to the podcast, but I ran it through AI, and it thought it was brilliant and funny. Just let that sink in for a second. It is such an incredible layering of profound, very real human loneliness paired with absolute peak modern absurdity. The really crucial point here is how the AI reviewed its own inclusion in the joke. It literally rated itself a 9. The AI noted the clever twist of adding artificial intelligence into the mix. It actually acknowledged the sad irony that technology appreciates what humans don't. It recognized the joke as a witty commentary on validation in the digital age. It's just brilliant meta-comedy, right? A lonely guy seeking human connection, coming up short, and finding solace in an emotionless machine that practically pats him on the back with a 9 out of 10 for his effort. Finally, Section 5, the therapeutic power of laughs. The psychological why. We've spent a lot of time looking at the structure and the math behind why these jokes are the best, but why do humans even need to write jokes in the first place? Like, why is David out there on that freezing park bench doing all this? Well, he actually answers it perfectly. Once I write a joke about something I find to be funny, it relieves the stress, confusion, misunderstanding about the situation, and over time it disappears. He goes on to explain, every time I say the joke, I'm able to get a sense of relief for myself. And honestly, this is the main thing you should take away from this explainer today. Comedy isn't just some mathematical equation to extract a laugh from a crowd. And it's certainly not just about getting a 10 out of 10 rating from an AI bot. For David, and for honestly so many others, it is a vital survival tool. It's a way to process memory loss, deep loneliness, and just the absolute complexities of being a human being. We've seen today that an AI can perfectly identify the mechanics of humor. It totally understands wordplay, tension, and misdirection. But it leaves us with this final, really provocative thought. If a machine can perfectly dissect exactly why a joke is funny, does the true magic of comedy come from the structural math? Or does it come from the raw, messy human pain behind it? I'm going to leave you to think about that one. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you guys next time.